they may engage in school shootings and things like that. Obviously, these
Mm,
are extreme examples, right?
right. Hi, and welcome back to our channel. And last time we talked about low needs doesn't mean no needs. And because we have so much to share, we have to have this part two. So last time, Henry and I talked about when people hear low needs, especially in teens or young adults, what do they usually assume? And Henry also explained about like the misconception. So if you have not watched part one, please go back and watch it because today we're going to continue to talk about school and social life.
And
How can these challenges show up in school, friendships, or daily life?
so I can maybe summarize this in these three areas, right? So
Okay.
let's start off with the school in terms of how these challenges manifest. Based on what I've seen with my learners and based on partly on my lived experience, one of the common things that I think students may do is they may skip classes or school either due to just cognitive overload
Right.
as a result of being rejected or bullied by peers or
Mhm.
just academic failure, right? They may experience so much stress, right, that they may not do well in tests, leading to bad grades, right? Not like, not as grades are not as expected, right? This could
Mhm.
blow their self-confidence, right? So this may lead to some students may, skipping classes, right? So that I think that's a big one. Other students may engage in physical aggressions towards self or others or just toward property, right? In some extreme cases, for what I've seen in the news, right? For example, I feel like some of these autistic individuals in some countries, they may engage in school shootings and things like that. Obviously, these
Mm,
are extreme examples, right?
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we
Still.
don't want these things to happen, but it has happened
Mm,
before in history, right? So I think we need to do something to reduce the likelihood of these types of laws from happening in the first place. So that's absolutely huge.
right.
And also, autistic individuals may face peer pressure, right?
Mm,
Especially due to drug use and things like that, especially when one is so desperate to fit into a certain crowd
true.
as a result of repeated social rejections and bullying. I
Hmm.
definitely noticed this myself too, right? That you
Mm,
feel the need to fit in into a group.
right.
But is this influence necessarily a positive thing or positive
Mm,
thing? Who knows, right? It may be, that child may actually be hanging out with the wrong crowd
right.
because of this desperation to fit into this crowd at all costs.
Right.
He or she may be more likely to be influenced by bad actors,
Exactly. Yeah, we have encountered so many cases like that in the past as well.
especially in online discussion groups, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, like either through religion, politics. I noticed that there are some autistic individuals who have a very strong sense of social justice, right?
Mm,
Just because of his or her own experiences with injustice by other peers and how they manifest their drive for justice. Again, is it necessarily in a socially appropriate way or not? We don't know,
mhm,
right? So
mhm.
these are the things that we need to think about.
Exactly.
So that's school. And talk about friendships. In terms of these challenges, many may have no friends, likely due to seen by others as so-called being weird, right?
Mm,
Maybe in his mind, he thinks it's pretty typical. It's not pretty typical, but other people may see that as being weird, right? So I think it's all
mm,
about understanding different perspectives in terms of his or own things that he or she does, right?
mhm,
Which can be difficult because like autistic individuals already have uh, challenges trying to understand other people's perspectives or see themselves from other people's
mhm.
perspectives, right? And also, many of these individuals may have very narrow or esoteric type of interests, right? For example, memorizing subway station names or being obsessed with bus schedules, right?
Mhm.
And these interests are often not matching, right, with those of most neurotypical peers, right? And I think this is partly because of like these autistic individuals are not very good or less likely to detect or understanding prevailing social trends. So, and that often influences the way the peers interact with them, right? And often that, social trends often influences their peers' ways of dressing and behaviors, etc.
Mm,
As a result of that, they're often taken advantage of by other peers, right? Especially due to not knowing how or when to say no
mm,
in order to protect themselves. And as I already talked about, their impaired ability to say no, in certain situations. Also, in terms of intimate relationships, I can say for girls, right? Because of these experiences, I feel like they're more likely to be taken advantage of sexually by their partners due to not being able to self-advocate and to say no to unwanted and non-consensual sexual advances. And for guys, right, they may feel increased chances of anxiety and depression due to repeated rejections from the potential partners, right, during dating or relationship phases. So that's different types of challenges, but the amount of challenges is not that much different. It's just in a different way.
Right.
Also, in terms of daily life, I can immediately see executive functioning struggles just due to mental and cognitive overload as a result of mental health challenges. As I said before, traumas leading to their lived experiences leading to traumas and anxiety, depression, right? This also impairs their ability to engage in problem solving, just fears of certain unexpected situations. For example, taking the wrong bus or turning at the wrong intersection to get to a place, or even like how to handle being in a car accident, right? So these are, I mean, again, if you have any other ideas of how these can manifest in different areas in life, again, please feel free to, to comment down below on from this video in this video. Yeah.
Right.
Also online, especially with the proliferation of social media. As I said, one may be so desperate to fit into a certain group, they may potentially join the wrong crowd in certain internet forums, either through religious forums, political forums, or just forums that are not socially appropriate, right? As a result, just because one may be influenced by certain viewpoints, right? I feel like some people may be radicalized into certain political groups, especially when one has a strong sense of justice, as I said before, right? Even though that sense of justice may not manifest in appropriate social conduct. That is huge. And also, there's also risks of cyberbullying, especially for girls. Actually, even for guys too, in today's society, right?
True.
As I said, they're more vulnerable being taken advantage of by certain bad actors online, either through financial scams, emotional scams, or physically, right? And this can have legal consequences, may get in trouble with the law.
Right.
Yeah. Again, I'm just opening a can of worms here. I feel like there
so many possibilities.
Oh, yeah, it's huge, right? I feel like I mean, I'm just opening a can of worms, as I said, right? So also last one is inappropriate sexual behavior. So for some individuals, right, this may lead to inappropriate public masturbation as one example, right? Just because of all these frustrations and traumas, especially with these lived experiences, right? Especially with autistic teenagers and young adults, right? Some may feel sexually frustrated, right? And they may manifest in these inappropriate sexual behaviors, right? For example, public masturbation is one of them. Or maybe some they simply don't feel comfortable and they may need a scratch, right? But they may not understand the fact that this is
the place and you're not supposed to.
Inappropriate behaviors in certain social settings,
right?
Private versus public places.
Exactly. Today, thank you so much, Henry, for sharing all these great information, and I hope you guys also enjoyed it. If you like, please like and share to friends that you love, you care, and don't forget to also subscribe our channel and feel free to comment down below. And we love to see you back next time. And thank you so much for watching.
And stay tuned for our future videos on various topics of autism.
Okay, all right.
Yep, bye.